What's up, man? Welcome to another episode of BMA Podcast. I'm over here with Tyrone, original Salt Lake hustler. He's got his own clothing brand right here. And I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell him about your clothes, man.
So, just being born and raised here in Salt Lake City, like we never had, any organically just dope streetwear or apparel. Like we get so much influence from all around the world. We get a lot of influence from LA to Texas to New York. And just me always understanding my influence, growing up, I always wanted to wear a Utah hat, but I could never find none that I would really support. And so, just being around the valley and just seeing why people support certain things and why. After I graduated high school, I moved out of state, and I always had friends that were into, just marketing and branding themselves. Like at an early age, we didn't really understand what we were doing back then. We just seen people, selling whatever they could get their hands on, and we turned a negative to a positive, and we got into, the apparel space. Shout out to C. Lee, Grand Forte, back in, 04, 05, 06, Calico Blocks. Shout out Jay Reza. Just going my whole life not having that type of influence in the city. Like we didn't have nowhere to go and get, local brands. Like we didn't know what was that? We're wearing Nike, we're wearing IS jeans. And so once I graduated high school and I can invest in my own cheese, like when I was in Oklahoma, I learned how to buy and wholesale hats. We were selling CDs, we were selling, merch out the trunk. And so I moved from Oklahoma, came back to Utah in 2016, and I came back home with that same mentality. I came back home seeing that there was still a void, there wasn't no Utah apparel. I seen the influence that we were getting from all around the world, and literally I saved up my first $500 and I invested in 100 t-shirts. And shout out my boy Lance Emil, Hard in the Paint. He gave me a spot on Good Morning Utah with Big Buddha, and since then it's just been history. I've literally been on Instagram finding all kinds of different manufacturers for the last 6-7 years. If you're looking for a manufacturer, you want to start a brand, like go on Instagram, like literally put in the hashtag, clothing manufacturer, streetwear manufacturer, like use those hashtags, follow those hashtags. That's how you get the stuff into your algorithm, interact with other brands on social media. That's how you get stuff into your algorithms. And if your stuff is dope, people are going to start reaching out to you. Like that's really been, my niche is a lot of manufacturers have reached out to me and seen what I was doing already out here in the street just by posting stuff online. My biggest thing for Salt Lake is just trying to be a trailblazer and showing these kids that you can do this, and this, and still get the same results by doing the negative. Like you don't got to do no negative out here. There's already enough people doing the negative for you. We need more effective leaders. We need more stand-up individuals that are in the community that want to, just curate a different vibe than what the state has offered us for all these years. Like it's not that no more. Like we got people from all around the world now.
Yeah, I mean, with us growing up out here, we really didn't have the right kind of role models to look up to, and
right.
The kind of role models that I looked up to, and me up in prison. But since I came home and pivot, I believe the energy you put out is the energy you get back.
That's a fact. What you put in the universe is definitely what you get back.
When you're walking around in a negative or a negative energy, that's all you're gonna run into is negative and funk and the rest of it. Since I've been home and have changed my mindset, I've been meeting people with like-minded individuals.
Right.
You hear you coming through.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of people that I want to promote out here in Utah is dudes that are doing positive stuff, dudes that's reaching back into their community, trying to show, like you said, the kids a different way to do things.
Yeah.
Because obviously the other way we were doing things wasn't working out.
No.
You know, all my homies been locked up. All the homies that I got around me are dudes that have been recently released from prison. But, you know, the reason for those things is that we tap into the resources that we have at hand. We tap into the knowledges that we know. If we knew that we could have been selling houses or selling t-shirts and shoes or opening up a shop and get that money, be able to keep up the money, if we knew how to do that, we might have been doing that. But we didn't have, the education system don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur, be a businessman. They teach you how to be a fucking slave.
Right.
How to go work for somebody,
Yeah.
look for somebody that has benefits that you can work for 30 fucking years and retire, and then they keep raising the retirement age. So by the time you're able to retire, you can't collect none of your money anyway, and the state keeps it.
That's
you
a
know?
fact.
So for us, it's like trying to re-educate the kids, just trying to open their eyes that there's other avenues to hustle. You ain't got to be in the street and watch your back and worry about getting locked up.
You know, we have to create our own platforms. We can't sit here and wait for opportunities out here in Salt Lake. Like, you got to create your own opportunities. Anything that you want to do out here, you can do it. Like, UTH is the place. We got one of the dopest economies. We got the vibes. We got the shit. We got everything. You know, the funding is there. Mormon Church, you got to come up off that bill. You know, you got to feed some of us out here. You know,
Not like
there's a lot of art. There's a lot of artists out here that's starving artists that need some of that budget. Y'all need to come up off that.
Nah, like
Straight
when I
up.
was doing my time, I got travel. I went through, you know, different states and stuff. And when I tell them I'm from Utah, they think we run around in dune buggies and wear white sheets and robes and shit, right? Like, they don't know that shit's popping out here, you know. But ain't nobody been able to put it out there like that. And then the dudes that's out here that's moving, when you see them in their music videos or whatever it is they doing, like you said, they always wearing something else from somewhere else. They always got the LA hat on or the Chicago Bull hat on.
Yeah, 49ers.
You know,
Right.
all the other gears and shit that they're not, but they want to tell you in the same breath that they from the 801.
And they the
that
this, and they
proud
the
to be from
dopest.
Salt Lake,
Right.
this and that, but they ain't wearing
Yeah.
nothing that's Utah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's where I come in. You know, when I that was one of my biggest pet peeves is when I wanted to support the artists out here is that it didn't make sense. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I just don't believe you. You're just the whole how you unrolled your whole treatment to whatever it is that you was doing, whether it been a single or a whole project. Like, I listened to your music and it don't make sense.
Yeah, you talk about everything that everybody else is talking about, which ain't really the life that you live.
And let me say one more thing too. Hey, you show promoters that's bringing these out of town artists, and the artist is coming to Salt Lake using our resources and only doing two half songs and then the rest karaoke. Hey, stop that bullshit, man. We got to boycott that. If you want to come to Salt Lake, man, you got to come here and you got to show us a full service show and you got to curate the vibes. Like, I'm not liking what I'm seeing out. Like,
you gotta give
we
us
got
our
to
money's
change
worth,
that.
man.
We got to
Come
change
over
that.
here, it's like a flyover state.
They come in here getting the bag and then going back and saying fuck Utah in the same breath. I'm not with that.
No, because the way they look at it, like, oh, they ain't got nothing going on in Utah, so these dudes out here, they starving for something. So let me go over there and, practically rob you. Go over there, you got a name. What's the show you was watching? Some dude named Fabulous. You know what I mean? He come over here. He feel like he got the clout or whatever. All people's gonna come to my show because I'm a famous rapper or whatever. And then rob a motherfucker by doing a couple songs and rolling out. You know, and that's the thing about what I'm trying to promote out here is that we got enough resources, we got enough people in the game that we start doing our own shit.
Yeah.
That we don't need to be looking outside in other states, in other spaces to try to help us put us on.
No.
Like we create our own lane. Like,
Yeah, we got all the resources.
like for me, I have a saying, I've been saying it a long time. I didn't come out here to join, homie.
Right.
I came out here to conquer.
Yeah.
And if you ain't inviting me to your space, I'm not gonna be stressing over that shit. I'm gonna create my own space.
Right.
I've been doing it with an iPad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But doing through that and people seeing the things that we're doing, we're starting to meet people and connect with people. And my thing is, homie, we ain't got no hater blood in us, man. We don't worry about that shit. If you're doing something good, you got something that you're trying to do, man, we trying to help promote each other. What they say, a tide raise all shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
This ain't no trickle down economics. It's just us out here grinding together. Different aspect. You got a clothing brand. I got a clothing brand.
Right.
But you see, I'm sporting yours, homie.
Right. Yeah.
You know, right now it's your time. Your
Right.
time to put out there what you trying to do.
Right.
And like I said, there's enough resources. There's enough money for everybody to get in it. Because ain't nobody just gonna wear the same shit every day. Everybody got a whole wardrobe of different brands and different stuff. You know, in different years.
And Utah's got like, between the music and the underground fashion scene, there's a lot going on out here right now. Like, it's actually, like, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, like, I would have never even, I couldn't fathom, like, seeing and living like my lifestyle, what I'm living right now.
Yeah.
Like, I always knew that I was going to be an owner. I always knew that I was going to own things. I always been a visual person. I always been a hands-on, frontline type person. And 2024, seeing what's going on in the city, like, it's just perfect timing. Like, I found my niche, and it's just time to just push this line for the salty salt. Like, anybody that comes to Salt Lake, like, tap into the Instagram _Utah.name.brand. Tyrone Nixon on Facebook. Just tap in with me. Like, if you got something that you feel like you can add value to what I'm doing, like, reach out to me. Artists, any type of artist, from any type of genre music, graffiti artists, if you like to paint. I'm trying to connect with any and everybody. Like, reach out to me. Like, let's create some vibes. Let's change the narrative. Let's put it on the flow. 2024, let's put it on the flow. It's spring. It's officially spring. So let's connect and let's put some functions together. Let's get the community together. Let's get it in. It's time.
Yeah, a friend of mine, when I came home, he said something that resonated with me from the first time he said it. It's still now. He's like, I'm very intentional on where I spend my money and where I invest my time and my energy. Because, we out here, the people out here, we steady trying to keep up with the Jones or keep up with the Kardashians. You got all these major brands that are from overseas or whatever, shit that you really, like, the people in our community can't really afford, but the way they have it, they got us thinking that we need to keep living up to their standards,
right?
Instead of just creating our own shit.
I've gotten some of the most weirdest, like, somebody will see one of my hoodies and want my hoodie for free, but then turn right back around and go and buy some Nikes or go and support, something that's just like, it's just tasteless. Like, if you see a local entrepreneur or a local, just hustler outside and they got some products, support that person, support that entity, like, don't try to get stuff for free. Don't lowball people. Like, pay what they weigh. Just like you pay Nike, you pay Reebok, you pay Balenci, you pay, Valentino, all these other brands. Like,
they ain't doing that. I don't even know who the fuck you is. They ain't doing a fucking thing for you.
At least you can rub elbows with me. Yeah. At least you can get in a hole with me, and I could probably lace you with some free game.
Where'd you grow up out here?
So I grew up on Pacific Ave in Emory. That's where I grew up, in a house that my uncle owned at the time, and then he ended up passing away and selling the house. Well, the house ended up getting sold, and then we ended up moving from Pacific Ave over to Sandy, right in the middle of it was literally like right in the middle of 6th grade. Like I thought I was about to go to Glendale or Northwest or something, the junior high, and we ended up moving to Sandy, and so we ended up moving to Sandy, and I went to Oakdale Elementary, and I was literally like the only black kid in my whole school.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, because living out here in Utah, there ain't too many black folks out here.
Now back then it
Yeah,
wasn't
nah.
there was just like a select few families out here, and my family is definitely one of the first black people, or one of the first black families here out of Ogden, and we settled on like 25th Street, and we ended up becoming entrepreneurs and things like that.
I mean, how was your experience growing up out here, being one of the only black kids at the school out here?
It was rough. It was
Yeah.
really rough because a lot of those kids at that time, like they had never seen a black person before. They had
Yeah.
probably only seen BET or MTV Jams at that time.
Yeah.
And back then, I was coming to school. I had a fro. Mom Dukes used to braid me up, and then I'd come to school, and kids be like, "Are you a girl?" Just asking me. Just asking me, just saying malarkey. And
Yeah.
I used to fight with those kids a lot, just because they didn't understand me.
Yeah.
But I understood them, and I understood my influence even back then, because even the people that I befriended back then, it was like when you come from something, you don't glamorize it.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get into the game. I was trying to get out. I was trying to figure out how to turn the negative into a positive.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends just ended up in prison and dead from drugs. And that's never really been my style. Like I've always been my own leader. I've never been one that had to travel in a pack. Like I stand out and stand up by myself. Just loving being from Salt Lake City. I just stand on my own 10 feet, bro.
Yeah. So how did you first get started with your clothing brand? Like, how did you come up with the logos you got? You got the Salt Lake City right here, but you got the way you did it. It's like a Nintendo game.
So this Salt Lake City design, shout out to Mr. Fab from Oakland. Shout out to the Bay. I've watched him for a very long time. Just seeing the things that he was doing, as far as he found a manufacturer and he was manufacturing his own clothes. Dope era. Originally, that's my original logo. This Utah affiliated seal, this eagle. This is my original logo. This one isn't as tasteful. Like I can't really pop at everybody with this. I feel like any and everybody that comes in and out of Salt Lake City, like I can, they can support that, from, the older generation to these new school cats. They all know, they know the vibes. Like as soon as you see it,
But you was born out here in Utah?
I was born and raised. I was born and raised here in Utah, and my family originally comes from Texas. Then we moved. We migrated to Oklahoma, and then I was just fortunate enough to be born here. My mom was raised by her father out here, and my grandmother would come from Tulsa or Oklahoma City, come out here, and she was, come in and out the city. A lot of my cousins from St. Louis, East St. Louis, they would come in and out of the city. So it's like I grew up around just a different type of seasoning, like when you look at me, you're like, dang, you're from Salt Lake. Yeah, I'm from Salt Lake. I'm just seasoned a little bit different, just seasoned a little bit different. I was literally just a product of the game.
Like a lot of people that live in these big cities, when they come out here, they think Utah's a little slow. I can't really speak on that because I've been gone for a few decades. Like, let us know what they got going on out here, where the spots at, what they doing.
Come out here and think Salt Lake City Slickers is slow.
Yeah, right?
Come out here and find out, like literally, Salt Lake is an untapped market. A lot of people don't know a lot of different things, but some of us is hip. Some of us hit the road. Some of us get up out of here. Some of us ain't just sitting here in this fishbowl. Some of us have been to the East Coast. Some of us have been to California and in the different neighborhoods. Some of us is tapped in. The ones that's tapped in, if you know, like it's a small niche community. when you come to Salt Lake, it's really just like Salt Lake is literally what you make it.
Yeah.
Literally what you make it. If you, just like what you said, what you put into the universe is what you're going to get back. That's Salt Lake. If you're out here on bullshit, Salt Lake's going to give you bullshit. If you want to get to the bag, if you want to start a business, you can do that. Like, it's literally, the world is yours here. Yeah. Like, we have the resources. You know, like, the Mormon church has depicted, you know, how they wanted to control the narrative for so long. But now that individuals like me and you have the internet, the world is ours. Yeah. Like, we don't have to wait to find a manufacturer. We can go online and we can just Google it. We can just manifest it just by speaking to that. The phones is listening right now. Yeah. You liable to, you know, go on Instagram here in a couple hours and you're gonna see some new clothing manufacturers just because I done seen manufacturing clothing so many times.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the issues I have with not just with the, you know, Utah being a Mormon church, but anything that is like has a certain type of mentality established is like they want to push that mentality on everybody. And if anything comes through that don't really fit into their box, they really don't want to support it, or they really don't even want to make room for it. But they have to understand, like, you know, us out here, we got people from all over the world just like everywhere else. And there's certain things that you like that I don't like. Mm-hmm. Just allow me, if I'm not harming anybody, just allow me to do me. Mm-hmm. Allow me to, you know, find my lane.
Right, and prosper.
Because, you know, everybody can't make money the same way.
Right.
You know what I mean? But again, like I emphasize, like if we ain't hurting nobody and if we're pushing something positive, like at the very least, stay out the way, you know? But you have a lot of these people that are, you know, walk around with a stick up their ass that
Chip
think that you
shoulder.
you don't look a certain way, you don't speak a certain way, or you don't come from a certain economic class. They really don't have no time for you. They really don't think that you got anything going on. And then when you do, they quick to come and steal that from you, sweep it up because they have the resources to put it on a bigger scale, you know? And that's why I go back to like what the homies say, you know, be intentional where you spend your money. Be intentional where you put your energy. And you need to put your energy in people that function with you, people that's in your community. You know, because that money comes back around in other avenues. When you buying stuff from these people from overseas, you know, these big brand names around the world and all that stuff, because they got rappers and celebrities walking around wearing it, you ain't seeing none of that shit in your community. No. They ain't throwing no barbecue where you can bring your kids through.
Right.
You know, and come hang out.
Yeah.
You ain't seeing none of that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, my purpose out here, I really believe is just to try to change the mentality of individuals. Like one, you gotta start looking yourself in the mirror and figure out what kind of person you are.
Accountability makes life so much easier.
Yeah. You got to be honest with yourself. Have an honest conversation.
Right.
You know what you're capable of. You know what you're not. You know what you is. And as far as abilities, like I say, we live in the age of information. Like anything you want to know, any type of knowledge, any type of things you want to learn, is literally at the tip of your fingers, man. And there's no more excuses. Like, let's go Utah. Like we can step up.
It's life elevated, fashion affiliated. You know, and we turn in the impossible possible. That's what we doing. Yeah. You know, it's 1% every day, and we just staying out the way, making plays. You know, we kicking the shit.
Yeah, man. Since I've been home, I've been meeting people that's doing things, and for me, it's beautiful to see that dudes out here. They're not letting their past define them. They're not letting their lack of resources or connections stop them. Like, there's really no measurement of success. For me, I feel like there's never a perfect time to do anything.
Right.
You're never going to have a perfect situation.
For you being gone, you know, for a couple of decades and then coming back home and just, like, seeing how the world is working, like, how do you see the difference in the city, like how much we've grown in the last 20 years? When
I came into Utah, you know, when we got off the I-80, the one or whatever that that one that comes through Park City.
Yeah, right.
Once
yeah,
we came
yeah,
in,
yeah, Party's right.
and the first place we were going, it was to my parents' house, and I know what my street looked like.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's in my head. It's been frozen in
Right,
time.
yeah.
So I'm asking my wife, I was like, babe, where you going? "Oh, I'm going to your parents' house." I said, how? What road is this? There's new roads, new houses. Like, I could have been in a totally different world, different
Yeah,
city,
right.
and I had no clue, man.
Right.
And, it's just, I've been in a time capsule, like literally, because, when you're watching TV, they're not showing nothing that's coming out of Utah.
Right.
They're showing, TV series that's taking place out in Chicago, out
Right.
in New York,
Yeah.
out in LA. So these dudes that are from around there, they're able to keep seeing their city progress because it's on TV. We don't got nothing on TV that's coming out of Utah.
Right.
So in my mind, Utah is how it was when I left it.
Yeah.
And like Daybreak, Harriman, and all that, those were fields.
Those
were fields.
Yeah, right.
Right now, when you drive from Salt Lake to Provo, everything in between that used to be fields. Now the
Right.
road don't stop.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it was almost like a culture shock, But not only that, my mind is frozen. I'm still at the age when I left, 20-something years old.
Right.
But now I'm in a freaking middle-aged man's body, right?
Right.
I'm 40-something years old. So when I interact with people, when you were young, you look at somebody that was in their 30s, you're like, man, that dude's old.
Yeah.
Because the way they act, the way
Right.
they carry themselves. Yeah. So me, it's like, people don't really believe that I'm the age that I am just because the way I talk and the way I act or whatever. I'm not immature, but there's a degree of like,
No, I get what you're saying.
Ways that comes with certain age.
Yeah,
and,
you still got
and
you
I
still
don't,
got
yeah, I'm
you
still,
still got that.
yeah,
You
for
still
me,
got
I'm
a
still
Bucks
young.
flavor on you.
Yeah. Like I dress in hoodies and I dress like somebody said you dress like you're back in the 90s or something. So I'm like, shit, that's what it is. I'm back, man, I've been in a time capsule, homie, and it's just, but, for me, I'm glad to be home, and I'm grateful for dudes like you that's been out here that's really doing things the right way, and no doubt it ain't easy.
No, it hasn't been easy. The journey for me, just I was working a job for a long time. I was working for people. I was punching the clock. I was working from 1 to 9 or 2 to 10, cutting meat, being a butcher. I was doing that Monday through Friday. And it was lucrative at the beginning, but inflation and everything that's going on right now, like, I had to figure something out. Like, I was selling my shirts and my hats, and I was making more selling my hats and my T-shirts than I was at the end of the week punching the clock, doing 43 hours a week.
Yeah.
And so I stepped back from working jobs for people, and I became an independent contractor. I deliver car parts, and I do Uber and Lyft, and Uber and Lyft changed my life.
Yeah.
You hear me? I sell T-shirts. I sell at least 20 T-shirts a week doing Uber and Lyft.
Oh, hell yeah. I got to get me an Uber job.
I'm trying to tell you, I keep the T-shirts in the trunk, and
Yeah.
when I pull up to people at the airport,
Yeah.
because we ain't got nothing in the airport that's worth buying, and if you do walk up to it, they gonna try to hit you over the head for some bullshit.
Yeah.
And so once I found, the gig with Uber and Lyft, it changed my life in the sense of just the way that I was looking at things. Like, I don't need to be going to pop-ups and doing all this unnecessary stuff. I can literally meet real people all day, every day doing the Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
And I just put my business card with the QR code in the back seat. As soon as they hop in, if they don't want to talk to me, like, they eventually got to get out the car. They're gonna see that card and they're gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
Because it's a Tiffany blue card with a QR code in the back, and it's got the Utah name brand logo in the front, and it looks like, it just looks like something like, it's eye catching. And
Yeah.
I put at least like 20 to 30 of those cards in there, and by the time my shift's done, I'll count on each side, and I'll have at least like 15, 20 of them missing.
Yeah.
And so I found a niche with the Uber and Lyft. Like, if you a brand and you got some grit in you, try Uber and Lyft to try to connect with people, and just give people rides and allow them what they would rather do. If they're gonna follow you, if they want to buy something, 9 times out of 10 they would rather buy something from you than give you a tip.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, look, Salt Lake Hustler for real. He's giving you guys game. Like, that's something I ain't never thought of. I'm sitting here with my shit in my tattoo shop waiting for people to come through. You know what I mean? I need to get out there, and get an Uber and a Lyft and start hitting the blocks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like do it for, you can just do it part-time. You could literally do it like on the weekends for like 5-6 hours,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, or maybe even Friday, Sunday. You might have something going on Sunday, but at least try to, like incorporate that into your routine somewhere. Like try to find a way that can work for you, because it could definitely work. Because I'm gonna tell you, I was driving like 65, 70 hours, but shit, I was pulling like almost close to $2K a week, and that's not even selling my clothes.
Yeah.
You can make it happen, man.
No, but
it's
really,
like what you willing to do.
Like I did fill out a form for Uber and they didn't accept me, right? But like, when you're doing that, just to pivot on what you were saying, especially if you're picking up dudes from the airport.
Yeah.
Now you you're able to connect internationally.
Right.
Not just
some of these people don't even live here, or they just have a house here.
Yeah.
Some of these people just fly in here just to go to their house in Park City, and they might only be here for the 3 months that it's warm, and then they go back to Miami or Florida or somewhere where it's warm, and then they might come out here to Diddy Bop for the snow. They might want to come out here and spend a few weeks in the snow and then go back. Like, you just never know with these people.
Yeah, no, especially Park City in the wintertime, you got people coming all over the world, all over the country,
right.
Really. I don't know about this year. We didn't have a lot of snow this year, but usually, our logo, our state motto is like the greatest snow on earth, right?
Right.
Yeah, so you get a lot. It's just, like he said, he's just trying to find spaces where you can network
and prosper and
make connects
and take yourself to the next level. Like, you got to think outside of the box. You got to think outside of, you got to color on the lines boldly and think outside of the box and find, just different niches that you can tap into that you can, literally study something and just add the value to your life. Like, you can literally incorporate just 1% at a time to get better. Be around people that know more than you. Be around people that you can be coachable to. Ask the right questions. It's just, there's so much different things when it comes to just operating as a independent entrepreneur or just a hustler. Like, you gotta stand on your 10 toes and literally just look yourself in the mirror and just figure it out what it is that you want to buy and sell. Like, this is America. That's our bread and butter. It's literally import and export. What are you good at selling? Yeah. Are you good at being behind the camera? Are you good at writing? Are you good at, it's just.
Yeah, you have to provide us some type of service.
That's it.
Some type of commodity. Like, look, every day just sitting here with you, I'm soaking up game. I've been learning things from everybody that I'm meeting, and I put it in my portfolio. And for me, I always say, like, you can dream all day long, but if you ain't getting your ass out of bed and moving, you ain't never gonna get nowhere. And even if you take the wrong turn, you get lost or whatever, at least the next day you know not to turn left. Next time, take a right. And it's gonna take a few tries. There's gonna be a few doors that you knock on that ain't gonna open up for you. But don't waste time crying about why that dude ain't opening the door for you.
Right.
And making accusing him of being this, biased, racist. Man, fuck him. Go to the next door. And on until eventually somebody's gonna see, if you're persistent, somebody's gonna take a chance on you. But they're not gonna take a chance on you if you ain't putting in that work and if you ain't taking a chance on yourself.
That's how I got my opportunities. Like, sitting in the house waiting for somebody to hit you, that's not how it works. Like, how I've gotten opportunities have just landed in my lap just from being at the right place at the right time, doing the right shit. Like, the hardest part is showing up.
All the time.
And once you get a habit of just showing up, like that's just a part of the program. Accountability, baby, like it makes life so much easier when you just hold yourself accountable and just, and write things down and try to get a little bit more organized. Yeah. That's really one of my biggest things is staying organized and keeping my things, written down to where I can physically see them, taking them out of my mind, getting it out of that space and actually seeing it in a physical form and then manifesting it.
Yeah. When we see people on TV or on the grand stage, everybody always thinks like, oh, that's an overnight sensation. But then when you hear the backstory, you find out they've been grinding at that for the last 10, 15 years.
I've been grinding with Utah affiliated and you ask anybody in the city, people know like I'm Mr. Pop Up. I pop up from here to Utah County, Pleasant Grove, Heber, Park City. If it's worth coming out there, I'm on my way. That's how I literally came out to Salt Lake, was literally out the trunk, like Master P, UGK, Too Short, E40, like all the ones before me. I'm just a Wasatch Whale just out here flapping my tail, just trying to get my mail. That's it, I'm trying to show these kids that literally you could be whatever it is that you want. Like, we don't need no more rappers, though. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
We don't need no more rappers. And no, we need some more, like, people in tech and videographers and people, news anchors and, like, be yourself. Like, just be yourself. Find your niche and be yourself. Not everybody's good at music.
No, I can't
not
rap.
Everybody's good at not everybody's good at acting. Not everybody's good at like we need doctors. We need people that are coming up with new innovative ways to stay healthy. Because they out here trying to kill us.
No, for sure. But like
with this food and all this, there's just so much to life. But the pursuit of happiness is literally just you finding the people. You just finding your tribe, finding the environment that you wish that you can occupy yourself in and be truly happy.
I mean, basically, you saying we ain't got to reinvent the wheel. Just find out the people that's been doing it before.
Yeah.
See what works for them and see what don't. I've had a conversation with dudes that's in jail trying to tell me how to live what I was doing, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, you in jail with me, right? Yeah, so what the fuck was you doing that was so much better than me? Matter of fact, you got more time than me, So when you're trying to have a conversation about money, you can't go talk to a broke motherfucker.
Right.
He can't tell you how to get money because he ain't got no money.
Right.
But but a lot of people have that stigma about people that got money. Oh, he schemed this, or he was doing this. Listen, you ain't got to do everything that dude did, but that dude knew how to get it. So if you try to get to where he's going, you want to talk to the people that's already there, not to the people that's daydreaming. And that's the thing that I've learned. Like, since I've been home, I've had a lot of conversations with people that daydream all day long. And they still daydreaming now. They got all the equipment, all the resources, been out here for the last 20 years, but they still daydreaming. I don't know shit, don't know nothing. I finally figured out how to work my phone and my iPad, and I'm moving. I'm not saying that one way is better or another. I'm just saying that, listen, just get up off your bed and move your feet. And you're going to make mistakes. Everything that you come up with is not going to work out. All you need is that one thing to work out. You know what I mean? But the only way you're going to find out if you keep trying.
Everyone in this world, you a play away from changing your life.
Yeah.
A play away. It's literally just, like he said, getting up out of bed and moving your feet, beating your feet in these streets. Like, make it make sense.
Oh. You're going to edit, right? Yeah. This is the homie stuff, man. Tell them where they can find you at and tell them how they can support you, homie.
So you can find me at Instagram at _@utah.name.brand or on Facebook at Tyrone Nixon, TYRONE, NIXO1, NIXON. So what I do is I drop collections on my website, Utah brand name. The website is actually closed right now, but when I do open it, just stay tuned to my Instagram or my Facebook. Literally, when I post on my story that the shop is open, you can literally go on there and you can buy. Or you can just reach out to me and just see what I have on hand. I always have something in the trunk. I keep goodies in the trunk. I'm always popping plastic at the gas station.
Yeah, this is what BMA is about, man. You already know my brand, baddest man alive. But there ain't no envy, there ain't no hater. We trying to promote everybody. We trying to lift everybody up. Like, you got something you trying to do out here, homie. You want to come through and holler at me, I'm going to put you on, and it's on you to sell yourself. It's on you to let the people get to know you, what you're about. Because one thing I've learned just in this last few months that I've been doing what I'm doing is that when people get to know you, when they have a face and a personality and a history behind a product, they're more willing to support you, especially if you're coming from a space where you're trying to change lives and better the community. One thing I've been preaching, man, we ain't on that goofy shit. So dude's been hustling out here, grinding, making his way. Man, look at him up, support him. That's Tyrone, Utah affiliated. Man,
UTAH is a place. I'm going to keep saying it because y'all know what it is.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming through, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate the hoodie and the hat all day.
Congrats on everything that you got going on.
Man,
just keep pushing, OG.
Listen, man, when I watch you guys move, you guys are my inspiration. Like I said, I'm just a baby out here, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
And all knowledge is good knowledge, even the ones that you don't need to know.
Right.
At least you know it, right?
Right.
So, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate you doing
Yeah,
what you're
I
doing.
appreciate you just even allowing me to even just pull up,
Man,
Diamond, I appreciate you, just being a real one, being solid, and just your vision is impeccable. Like, I see your vision, and I want to be a part of everything that you got going. Like, I highly appreciate you in introducing me to the OG and allowing me to come here and be on this platform. Like, yeah, like let's keep the vibes going. Like 2024, it's on the flow.
Hell yeah, that's Tyrone. I'm Mesa. This BMA Podcast. Man, we try to uplift the community, man. Peace out.